Peace, 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 peace. Greetings to all. Oh man, it's one of those moments, days, the energies is energizing. No, but give honor to Source, to all you beautiful people out here, everyone out there is trying their best to weather their own storm, find peace in their own storm, find joy, find love, so many things. I just want to remind you, as we learning now, so much to pick up the pieces of who we were, learning so much about who we really trying to basically make sense of who it is we are and what we're becoming. I will say this to a lot of you, is that I had to get reminders, because sometimes I can get so, if you want to call it sidetrack, or we could venture off in a way to assume that, you know, just because what we see, we assume that someone can have it all together, and it's not at all. Not at all. When you're talking about we're all transitioning through something, whether people are coming from a journey of experiencing a transition from someone that they lost, people trying to come into from their spiritual sense of making sense of this life. So in a way, I'm saying we're all experiencing some type of, you know, death spiritually to something and coming into something anew. That looks different for everyone. Make sure, I know the wind's gonna be blowing. That not only looks different for everyone, but it can be a challenge in itself. Trying to see what kind of topics that I'm gonna speak on. Come on, bug. It always gotta be one bug. Like, see, let me tell y'all something. Making videos outside, freaking nature, bro. You talking about bugs, you got the wind, you got nature, just everything externally trying to keep you like distractions, traffic, anything. And that's why it takes so much of just focusing on breathing, just doing your best to get the message out and continuing it, staying present. I have a few like things that I want to share, even on my own journey, and most importantly, like I said, I've been having these reminders because I've been so focused. Sometimes I can get so focused on either creating something or feeling like I gotta do something, and a lot of us not realizing that we're coming out of that that survival spell, you know, of feeling like we have to do certain things all the time, having to do something. If we don't go a day without doing something, and the beauty of this is like so much of where I am now is I've learned so much now to embrace rest, to embrace relaxing, you know, whether it be taking a day without doing something, or I was expressing to someone like simply just doing a masterpiece. That's one accomplishment, you know, because it looks different for everyone. Some people may assume like, well, what does he have going on? What do I have, you know, what does this person have going on? Like I said, it's so much to where it's not even about convincing people, you know, of this journey or how it looks. Not only I've been in so much of a reflecting mode, and a lot of us are, I've been so much reflecting on not only just my life, my relationships, partnerships, business, you know, so many things that, you know, that is in my own world, in my reality right now, that may not make sense outside of what you see or what's here. A lot of which I realize is just even having the courage to first go to myself, then coming here and realize that the beauty of how being reminded through others from source, from the creator, that, you know, you never know how much what you're doing just daily by not giving up on yourself. And sometimes, you know, I can look at it from both perspectives. Giving up is not so much of just wanting to harm yourself or take yourself out. No, and it's so much of, you know, surrenderance and giving up and like, hey, I'm just gonna chill for today. I'm just gonna honor that. I'm just gonna lay back and, you know, honor, you know, not be concerned about how the outcome is gonna be. And that's very challenging. And in that aspect, and the reason I say that is because today we're gonna talk about this masterpiece. And so the beauty of that is this is like the mental warfare, you know, fighting against your own thoughts, the waging war in your own thoughts, your mind, you know, should I speak about it? And there was a lot of things going through my mind as I actually did this. Please tell me this phone not getting hot. Okay, I don't think so. I'm glad I got it facing the right way. But anywho, and this in itself is like, it's like the silent cry, but also the waging war in your mind. For me, when I was doing this, some of these photos were having to do with, you know, experiencing some type of trauma with molestation, you know, being held down, you know, being forced upon, and, you know, those that may not know how to speak about these things or what has happened traumatically in your upbringing. And so you seeing this, the little boy, you know, just, you know, in this so much of waging war mentally within himself, you know, the mental disorders, you know, creating, and we've all have suffered from this, is like creating scenarios, replaying scenarios in your mind about, you know, things that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago, or, you know, when we were a child, or, you know, anything simply just how our minds, like, trying to process thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of thoughts daily. So you're talking about not just, when we talk about this, the spiritual path will also talk about, well, it also connects us to where we have a mental or spiritual body, you know, the soul, you know, different bodies. And you can research this on your own time. And it just talks about, like, you think you just are a physical vessel, but you're also having like an emotional body. And you're talking about all those things that connect you into your, what you may call existence. So even speaking about this is so much of how, again, it's so much of why I do what I do is because I know there's others out there that, you know, I not only see you, I feel you, but, you know, a part of the all of the collective is that my own individual journey is and will have some type of ripple effect on others. Just like you see the little boy, but you're also talking about people who can connect to this in some way, you know, battling with their thoughts, battling with so many things that, again, we cannot really make sense of, you know, going through things and being called like crazy, or, you know, family making it seem like, oh, what do you mean? And talking about spiritual things, conscious things, you know, just so many things, again, that we want to make sense with our minds, you know, but trying to go share so much with family or other people, and and them not being at that level consciously or of awareness of to even process it, because again, we're all trying to process, you know, maneuver through this thing we call life. And so that can be, you know, even challenging to an adolescent, a child that's innocent. And so a lot of which, again, I share these things because the beauty in, there's nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide from myself. So a lot of these things is trying to process the fact of, did this happen? Why did this happen in this connection? You know, for instance, the one thing I'm learning now is from doing so much, you know, the healing and acknowledging the inner work, every day is a process. I just want to let you all know that, is that it's easy said, but don't ever beat yourself up, man. I try to, but an elder shared with me, never beat yourself up for your own journey, because what your connection to, and a lot of us are going through this process of reconnecting to who we are, and how that looks is between you and your connection to your higher power, your source, your creator, the most high, whatever you title it. That is going to look different for everyone. And so sometimes it's the non-verbal, you know, that is being said. And then so many people having so much to say, to where, you know, even from my experience, I can attest to this, is that a lot of us had that awakening, or, you know, whatever it is you have, you know, have experienced. You want to tell so much to the world, you want to share so much with people, and in reality, it's just like this little boy, little girl. It's like we've gone through life not realizing how much we have processed, absorbed, taken on, that it's not even ours. You know, the mental warfare of, you know, think about, like, and just from my experiences, I know this was just people that were hurt or wounded people, or whatever entity attachments they had. It's so much of even my own experiences, to where you had verbal abuse, or you had so many things that reminded you daily through your psyche of, you know, seeing. One thing that played on my mind is like being told that you're not shit, or you're never going to amount to anything, or who do you think you are? You know, basically all those things that you want to feel great about yourself. And then in that process of feeling great, just that little glimpse of greatness and hope or beauty, there's, you know, something reminded, you know, something or someone reminding you of that trauma response, you know, or to react. And you're talking about people who have held on to these things just like myself, and now trying to mentally process it. Now trying to make sense of, like, and it's not so much of wrong and right as you elevate, you know, from an energetic level. It's so much of how the energy has, you're seeing this unhealed version, or, you know, unevolved version of not only yourself, but of women and men. And so where I'm getting at is so much of, you know, it starts in the home. It starts, you know, from the environment. And now being in my early 30s, it's very, even to this day, challenging for me to, and what I'm learning now is so new, to even coming to that, having to apologize and nurture myself, you know, to loving this version, but also trying to even not let my mind override my heart, to let my heart now, you know, with loving myself, honoring myself, honoring my emotions, having to heal my own heart, and, you know, love on myself more and more. It's a process every day, people. It does not just stop. And then even in that process, you know, trying to align my mind, my thoughts with what is not my thoughts, what am I wrestling with, and more so of like the voices of you being reminded of the mother, the father, the person, you know, that verbally abused or, you know, said these things that are still seeds planted here. So it's not just physical, mental, all those things play a part in the spiritual abuse. The connection to you're healing your light body, or you healing aspects of yourself, your descendants that came before you. I like to believe that up to this very point, a lot of us being a generational curse breakers, in a way, how we honor and face the things that we hate, and learn to love those things we hate so much about ourselves, and in that wounding state, or loving that wound, and no longer, you know, getting in connections or partnerships where that wound is ripped back open, to where we're actually tending to that wound, tending to our own needs, tending to our mind, you know, nurturing ourselves. And that in itself can seem to the world very selfish, but they don't know how it looks, so someone has to be a demonstration for that. So again, in myself, I'm writing, even with my poetry, a lot of stuff that mentally I've been battling with, but I realize I'm not the only one that have had these thoughts. You know, much love to all of those who have made it through, or had someone who has suffered from suicide, you know, because it's different for everyone. But again, you're talking about how living in this world, or living in this place where you're trying to just daily trying to make sense of having a sense of peace, a sense of happiness and joy, a sense of security, not just externally. These things start internally, and we're now coming to that awareness of that, seeing that, you know, what about my inner wounds? And this aspect is acknowledging that, and now presenting it to the world, as I would express to someone, to where now I have the courage to have accepted. See, that's the thing about forgiving myself, but also accepting. You know, that's a very challenging in itself, because so long we've been going and moving forward without actually accepting, you know, that there's a wound there, or accepting that this really did happen. See, that's the state of delusion, like even myself have been, and others. And when I'm able to see it within myself, I'm able to recognize the dysfunction. I'm able to recognize the imbalance. I'm able to recognize the wounding, which still allows me to have a place of compassion. But at the same time, at the same moment, at the same moment, hey girl, I guess you can get in the video too. Hey girl, I got a guess. How you get over here? Huh? You walked over here. I got a friend, a little doggy. You gonna be over here when I make my video, huh? Hey girl. Oh my gosh. Hey. You come over here and get some scratches. Oh my gosh. I just have to see this. Look. Hey girl. Oh, you trying to be shy for the camera. Okay, let me put you back. Put myself back over there. But other than the distractions, I know you want me to rub you. See, God, oh my. So even in essence, with getting back to everything, I'm gonna scratch her as I do this. Come on, come here. Hey. Again, multitasking. Even in the challenging, like us. Oh God, what are they? Come back to me. Yes, in the process of nurturing ourselves, we're learning, all of us right now, learning to we're unlearning and trying to be patient with ourselves and other people in that process. So that could look, you know, that can be very challenging in itself, because let me tell you, man, it's easy said than done, like, to where we want to be, we've been taught so much to be there so much for others, and now we're being forced, like the universe, this is divinely orchestrated. Now we're being forced to see ourselves. Now we're being forced to see the inner wounds. Now we're being forced to sit down. And what was I saying? Expressing to someone that, like, you know, me first having to see these things within me before I can actually, you know, which I've even caught myself in. And that's why healing is so much of a process of just not just doing things where you just like, oh yeah, I'm healed. And no, there's still, as soon as you know, the universe have a way of like, yeah, you heal this. I mean, that's why I say it's a challenge with not beating up on yourself. Yeah, you've healed this aspect of yourself, only to now share that with the world or share that with whomever. But still, in these connections and these people, do you have the courage to still see the other wounding that still needs tended to? Meaning that, you know, that still needs to be acknowledged. See, that's the thing where the power struggle could come in, because I may be strong mentally, communicatively, or intellectually, but then spirit will have you meet someone that's healing from a level of, how could I say, like, let's say that's not as expressive, but you're in their life to be like an advocate for that. But they're also showing you, for instance, like, I'm learning, me coming off a journey that I wrote something talking about, like, learning to trust again in myself, learning to acknowledge these things within myself. Yeah, I can vocalize it, I can express it, but then you have others who have been verbally abused. You have people that have went through so many things, physical abuse, to where now you're trying to represent yourself to the world, to something or someone, being open to affection again, being open to be touched. And see, this is why I speak on topics like this, because you're talking about me, naturally, sometimes in the past, I would go on defense, or I would easily get defensive on, you know, and triggered, or, you know, react when something is said and reminds me of that past wounding, or, you know, what something that remind me of what my mother may have said, or a spouse or partner may have said. And so you're talking about trying to reclaim that power, that innocence of who you were, in the process of healing all of these things, and not trying to project onto someone else, where spirits, like, they also do have an inner child. They also have been wounded. And I was having this talk with someone, you know, sometimes I have to catch myself, because I can speak very powerfully. I can express things, and now it's helping me learn, you know, to listen more and also work on my approach. That's why I say, man, yo, this shit right here is not for the faint of heart when you are on this journey, because you have had so many of us that when I say I use the term wounded, that doesn't mean that, you know, you are still valuable. But, you know, learning, how do I know if I don't see the wounding and the pain, so I no longer bleed on to people, so I no longer try to put everything off on them to lighten my load. And in reality, it's always going to catch up back. It's always going to catch up with you. Simple as that. Like, and that's how we're reminded through relationships or partners, because it's all help us elevating, you know, help assist us in our evolution of who we are and who we're becoming. Do we have the capacity, or do we have, you know, the mindset you know, do we have the courage? Do we have the security, a sense of knowingness to be able to know what that looks like, and then able to walk it out, able to, you know, it's like now a lot, for me, it's like learning love again, and not to ever let that love go for myself, as that represents a man, patriarchal, or, you know, carrying these energies. And so it's like, for me, it's trusting. It's very challenging. It's very challenging, I will say. Even meeting the people from a path that I came from, and literally trying to make sense of what I am experiencing, not only in my mind, but also in my reality, of the trauma, the pain, you know, so many things spiritually. A lot of you, well, some will come to know this, like you're talking about, when you're talking about generational curses, you're talking about so much stuff dealing with practitioners and magic and a whole other stuff that really, you know, I won't go into depth with today, but it's so much of now reclaiming again that innocence, that crown, that aspect of yourself that we felt that did not even exist anymore, you know, and having to realize that it's there. Like, it's a divine playing a trick on me. I'm like, me? Like, you know, sometimes I even look at what I create and I'm questioning, like, what? No, this has always been there. See, the thing about our childhood innocence and what makes us so magical, what makes us so beautiful, is that these things have always been there. These things have always been inside of us. So, getting back to my journey, it's like a lot of which goes unseen and unnoticed. It's not just a spiritual warfare, but you're also talking about your physical, you know, your physical reality, to where you've experienced certain partnerships, relationships, and now trying to clear your mind mentally, you know, dispel these things to where you now can, you know, I do feel worthy, that worthiness of being, you know, whole again, innocent, you know, knowing that I could, you know, peace and abundance, or, you know, prosperity, all these things, you know, clarity, having a clear mind, all these things is my birthright. It has always been my birthright. And so now having to remove that idea of what a mother, a father, you know, seeing those unhealed and unevolved versions of self, and now, like, really resting now, you know, in a sense of peace, being in an environment where you can have peace, seeing those energies play out, seeing those things like, whoa, you know, I had to get to a place where I self-reflected so much to where, you know, it's like a heartstring thing. It's like a push-pull. Like, do I go back and try to save them? It's like really getting out of that savior mentality and really realizing that you're your own savior. Like, I have to acknowledge my own everything first. So the biggest challenge for me is, you know, not only the healing myself from these connections and, you know, mending my own heart, but also being open again to that help. That is one of the most challenging things, because in the back of, not so much the back of your mind, but the way these energies can play out, you can have people trying to creep back in, and, you know, is it really them? Have they really healed? You know, what's attached to them? What things are they going through? And so, you know, after so much of, you know, them choosing their free will, them having to go through their healing, it's so much that goes into this shit, people, to where I'm like, I'm learning it's not just what you see here externally. It's the innocence. It's the little boy in me that's like, that was hurt as well that you don't see. You know, that's wanting to be like this to the world. You know how a little boy, like, oh, like a little child, be like, hey, you know. But then there's a part of me that a lot of people don't talk about, that's guarded. Or what I may call now boundaries have been set for. Because I recognize the narcissist behavior, or I recognize, you know, the emotional manipulation, or I recognize certain things, whether people unconsciously see it, but I'm able to recognize it in the spirit to where I'm attentive to it. And then also to what no longer serves me, to where I can reflect, but I also now can move forward in grace with love. Because a lot of us, even myself, is that my journey was a part of recovering, restoring the love that I felt that was ripped from me or taken from me, you know, and that was from experiencing and also inflicting that from my own pain, from my own experiences. And so in that whole trial and error, or in that whole experience, you know, it takes a lot of courage to accept what has happened, what you played a part in. And now, because no one escapes karma, but now having the courage to move forward, to express it, to inspire. And so a lot of things, again, it's a process. Both men and women, and especially people who have kids, who had to go through some type of divorce. It's a lot of things that, you know, we're all trying to maneuver through. We're all trying to make sense of, and it's a challenge. Men and women, you know, especially for our women trying to reintroduce themselves to themselves, heal themselves, in the process of, even if they have kids, in the process of like, do you know, for the protection of their kids, them may needing a partner. It's so many things that go into these dynamics, people, that we don't see. Or do we care enough? Because now that having being faced with our own stuff, who's gonna care more than you care for self? And then actually having a partner in that type of connection. And so it's a lot that goes into it. And again, for me, one thing I tell you on my journey has been very challenging. And I realize it is what my spirit or soul came here to clear karma of. That's what I will say. A lot of you that's on this journey is that you're clearing your pain, and whatever you went through was never in vain. I always tell people that, and I'll put this masterpiece up too. Hi, I had another one, huh? This one is magical as well. See, and this is the thing about, we're trying to hide from the world, and then the part of you inside is crying out. Literally, like the part of you is literally crying out for that guidance, for that help. And that's like what a part of you that you're trying to fight is literally going to the soul is going to do what it's called to do. And so that's what a lot of us are feeling. It's like you can literally feel this. It's like, it's like you're shedding old layers of yourself, not to mention that people that want to hold on to that as that ideology or that idea or that part of you that, again, you moved on from. It's not that it's still not there, because it's like a shadow. But you face that aspect of yourself. That's what shadow work is. That's what going inward is. That's what that journey is the journey inward. And that process of that, again, it's like, as much as we want to hide from the world, like, you know, cover ourselves up, it's still a part of us that's still calling out, that's still seeking, you know, seeking what is seeking us. And so it's not just the mind thing. You're also talking about an internal battle as well. It's not just mentally. You're talking about the heart space as well. The heart that wants to be seen. The heart, you know, that's calling out for you, no matter how much you want to hide from this world, through your from social media, from behind money, behind all these things, these statuses, and as still for you to do know there's a part of you inwardly that's crying out. And that's what I say with a lot of us right now. It's like, even with me, again, these are things I first go inward, then express. I always tell people, artists has a way of expressing things. They don't have to say anything verbally, but we have a way of expressing things without words. And see, that's the beauty of where a lot of us are, is that as you go through this healing process, there's going to be a way of doing things now completely different than what you knew, than what looks familiar, when you were comfortable in a lot of things. See, that journey, depending on the calling, is going to keep calling to where you realize that, hey, that's the giving up. I say the surrender. You're like, you know what? I accept where I am. This is what life has given me. And I'm grateful. I'm honored. I honor this. And in that way, I feel like you can make peace with it when you're able to just no longer hide from yourself. And in that journey, you'll realize that you have no identity. For those of you that, I'm telling you, don't ever beat yourself up. You have no identity when it comes to really ascension, or, you know, come to this process of trying to be who you are. Who are you being it for? Are you being it for you first, or are you being it for others? So again, everyone, you're on your own stage. This is my stage. This is my world. And at the same moment, I can only be the best version of me in that moment from whatever experience, whether traumatically and or whatever experience that I've learned from either both matriarchal and patriarchal, from feminine energy and masculine energy. And in both ways, that polarity of that, or that yin and yang, that dark and light, I'm expressing that. And that femininity, which you don't see in the darkness, is so much of that's ever changing. It's like the water. It's ever changing. To even question the femininity of who we are within, it's an energy. It's like people go through different stages. That's why I don't question who people are, because they go through different stages that may not make sense to us, but it's no different than a caterpillar into a butterfly. Sometimes we get so caught up in what this looks like. And even that masculine aspect is that you're seeing, masculine is more like the conclusion or the action, or, you know, you see the tree, but what's really going on? Like, just imagine if you turn this upside down and really see the roots. Not to mention creatures, not to mention all types of whatever it is. It's like a glacier. We see things on the surface, or we've been seeing so many things so from a surface level that now we're being forced to go inward. And in that, we're ever changing. Yesterday is gone. You know, and not to mention unprogramming and letting go of all this shit that we've experienced with schools and so much other things, trying to live out you know, this aspect of ourselves that, do we really love what we do? I can honestly say where I'm at is like the peace in being, just accepting where I am in this moment, and being able to express, you know, from a place to where not caring how the world judges me, not caring why should I care about how I'm viewed or accepted. Learning now to embrace not only within myself, but the natural aspect, the aspect of me that's ever changing, the aspect of me of, you know, not holding on to those distorted dialogues of the past or people, knowing that they're never the same where you left them. You know, now choosing every day to be, you know, who I am, and that can look different. Every day I ain't gonna sit here in front. Every day ain't gonna always be, you know, sweet. No. Some shit I don't even know I'm making sense of. Some shit just gonna come up that I'm like, oh shit, that was still there. See, that's how the healing and wounding is. Oh, that was still there? We don't really know something until someone like re-enters our life. You know, something happens and you gotta find a way to counter. Like, oh shit, this happened, man. Okay, let me, you know, it's the dark and light. Because the dark, in a way, that feminine energy is always ever changing. So it's like in a way of naturally chaos to create, and then chaos to the creation. So it's like you're both one and the same. So that's like I tell people, you come over here and just thinking like, no, I honor this shit. That's been a process. You think that I didn't have to go through shit to create this shit? Like, that's what people, oh, this nigga, I don't care what you call me. I don't care about none of that. I honor this shit. But you think that somebody that didn't go through some shit, that had to create this? Not to mention the process of people not being on that, like, not even trying to convince the world. It's like, as an artist, trying not to, like, focus so much on, like, where they get me. You gotta get you first. This shit may not make sense to no one but me, but I gotta be like, you know what, it's cool. I get it. But then now we're coming to a place where, again, everyone, it's like we were hidden in plain sight, a lot of us don't realize how much of so many things we were working through spiritually. You know, casting out shit, healing, working through things, not having to go through the alternative way, doing things in a more benevolent way. I hope I said it right, yeah. But doing things that doesn't make sense to the world, because you here you are like, this is, oh, that's not, you can have so many people say some shit, that ain't art, that ain't this. But guess what? It was given to me by the Creator. A lot of stuff that's given. It's now how I'm choosing. You know, I'd rather use now my gift to empower not only myself. This is a sense of empowerment. Now it can be expressed and empower others. Shit, we had enough of seeing the world now. I mean, that's how the forces, the power that word will operate. I don't even realize, like, what? It's not so much of you seeing pain in this. You're seeing an expression, a feeling that, again, consciously, everyone's not there. So everyone's not supposed to get it. But being, now that people are coming online and going through that, they'll be able to relate. They'll be able to see with spiritual eyes. They'll be able to acknowledge. So again, for a lot of you that's on your journey, when you're reconnecting back to the divine, to your divine truth and who you are, you're going to realize that everything was divinely orchestrated. Yes. Divinely orchestrated for now, for you to be able to reach those who you'll be able to reach and touch. But it ain't going to be able to touch them physically. They'll be able to see, and you'll be able to touch the inside of them, the spiritual aspect of them, from a soul level. Like, man, okay, you know, and it's activating, but it's also what you choose to do with that energy. So again, a lot of this that's happening as we elevate and evolve, you know, this is me choosing to evolve. This is me choosing to alchemize, you know, to use what has happened, but now to illuminate that. Now allow the sun to illuminate, you know, that which can no longer be hidden. You can't hide from yourself no more. People know this now. You can't hide behind whatever it is you're doing. Eventually, the all-seeing sees all. And so a lot of which is that those that are authentic, divine, they know that we have nothing to hide here. I was giving these things. You were giving these things not to hoard. What can we keep here? Because a lot of what we do, I don't even be having a fucking idea to put a price on something. Because somebody be like, oh, you know, and I don't care about nobody fucking opinion. I don't give a fuck about it. Anywho, somebody can look at this and be like, oh, that size and whatever else, and oh, that's like 20 or... Let me tell you something. Sometimes I can't put a price on something, but things are so priceless, or I don't even have an idea. But when I look at something so magical like this, it's about receiving something that I know I'm worthy of, my value, that can also not only be valuable for me, but also in receiving is more seeing the value in how can I not only for me, help me, but help others that are connected to me. You know, seeing the bigger picture, not doing it to boast or brag about. No. Because it's not even about that shit. Because everything that people don't got now is been given to them. It's just whether you choose to abuse it or whether you choose to use it in a way, from a distorted way or unhealed way or unevolved way, to where you want people to feel jealous or envious. I can't help that people feel that way, and neither should you. That's their own internal battle. That's their own, you know, way of casting spells, whatever the fuck they doing. But they're not going to stop what is divinely orchestrated. This is up to me. This probably about not even just US dollars. Like, I'm talking about international. This is global. This is universal. This is cosmic. Okay. But anywho, yeah, this is what? It's gonna be like, I saw some shit today I saw some stuff early online. I'm like, I looked at something, I was like, for that? For, you know, this is me, because it ain't about criticizing anybody else. I just laugh, because I'm like, for that? And then I look at me. That's the thing about knowing who you are. You're uniquely you. Nobody else is recreating, and no one else can do this better than me. And when I mean better, is that no one else is doing what I'm doing. That in its essence is infinite. It's an infinite expression. That in itself is divine. So a lot of y'all get ready to receive, because now we're getting to a place to where, you know what I'm saying? Get ready. It's our moment now. You know what I'm saying? You can relate to this, because I can. But the beauty of this is, like, these two masterpieces, man, what? Talk to my manager, myself, man. We're gonna need about 20 G's, 40 G's, 50 G's, or, you know, abundance, prosperity, in a way of, yeah, 2 million and more, or, you know, however spirit see fit. But it's also a feeling of getting to that place of feeling worthy of that. You know, that's another thing. Like, I had to work through even feeling worthy, even my connection, you know, to my relationship with money or currency. And that goes with a lot of part with self-love and loving your journey, because so much of, and what I saw in the art world, it's not that it was so much about money, but it was also, I also saw the abuse of power. I also saw that, you know, people not even having the resources, you know, being in those environments where they're able to present themselves, you know. And now that all of this is changing, because it's now how we're illuminating it, as the sun came out, illuminated it to the world. Because the beauty in all of this is that I can see, you know, in the past, and I believe that's what a lot of the Most High allowed me to see on my path to what not do. And see, that's what a lot of us will realize, is that you'll see the distortion, you'll see the dis-ease, the discomfort, and things that don't sit right with you, because you wasn't supposed to conform to that. You wasn't supposed to be a part of that shit, not to mention spell work and all other stuff that wanted to keep you from walking into who it is you know yourself to be, not who the world portrays you who to be. And so now being able to walk in that, reclaim your divine truth, your divine essence, your divine everything, your divine inheritance, you know, and being able to be that for you, and also realizing it's an expression, not concerned about how others are going to receive, in a way, you know, depending on if they're open to receive, because everyone's not there. But the beauty of this is, for a lot of us anyway, is to create and be able to, you know, because this is the natural world. You're talking about being able to live in a place, in an environment where not only do you feel safe, but you feel you're happy at what you're doing. You love what you're doing, and how it can and will inspire so many others, you know, because this is also seeing the youth, but also seeing who we are and how much we all have been affected by this. So You're talking about on a global scale. You're talking about everywhere. So, and that's because I'd rather not have no limitations. So again, it's a worthiness in knowing your value, and your value is immeasurable. Cannot be just measured with money, with you know, just material things in what I'm saying, but it's the way of being, you know, how do we express that energy? How does that look? And you know, that's what I feel like a lot of things are being, you know, the tail is becoming the head, as I always say, or the meek is inheriting the earth. It's because of and it's wild because, you know, I went through that stage where the very people that said so much, that had so much to say, and it's not even about them, it's just simply about how I stood in my truth, how I honor my own path, no matter how that looked to anyone else, if it makes sense to them. Because in the inside, or who I am, is just simply an expression of my own truth, of my own divine truth. You know, having to, I don't like the term parent, but really having to father and mother myself, and still in that process. Because a part of what I'm creating is also expressing, you know, this is who I am, whether I express it to you verbally or not. This is who I am. I won't ever stop being that. And you don't even know who I am, because I'm giving you bits and pieces as I still relearn, unlearn, and reconnect with the divine. And as I begin to learn me more, there's still parts of me that, being that, again, it's not, I never care to live in the shadow of others or anyone else. So, but I did at a point to where, am I trying to hide behind others? But it was never for me, because I knew myself to be naturally, you know, because a leader had to be a follower at one point in time. So a lot of us are now coming into that stage where you're able to know what it is to be led by the divine, but also be led by your own divine truth. And so that isn't really in the world as you see it right now. A lot of that isn't being portrayed to the world. Ooh, I need to stretch. So, again, it's not about convincing no one. It's about, this shit is really, I just want to have fun. This is about fun, bliss, harmony, because we've been in so much of a head space, a mental space, spiritual place, so, you know, where we're coming out of these illusions of entrapment, you know, no longer entrapping ourselves with this bullshit of the old world, the old matrix, the powers that were, all that stuff. It's like, now, no, we're here now. I'm coming out. I won't do well. Okay, anyway. But again, and it's like, the world needs this shit. The world needs you. Let me tell you, yo. That's how I've been feeling right now. All that other stuff, you ain't gotta believe shit I say. But you better know this is one of a kind from the divine, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta know, like, for real, it's like, yo, you are unique in your own way. You are divine in your own way. I'm looking at this like it's a mirror, but you are who you are. And you're coming, it's been so beautiful because of the reconnecting with the innocence, or as the Sister Solar Ra would say, it's like we're all trying to reclaim the crown of glory of our innocence. And see, what that entails for me is so much of like, had I not experienced the spiritual warfare with so much things, and just how divinely guided and protected I've been, the experiences I've had, and just now it's like a fucking rebirthing, yo. Feeling unstoppable. You know, now just like y'all have no idea, like they have no idea, like, yo, you try to stop the divine, you can't stop what's divinely orchestrated. It's like trying to cut down every tree, trying to destroy what is natural. what has always been, what will always be. Come on, you tried me? Let me over here rapping. How dare you? Come over here and get inspired. Come over here and learn. You know what I'm saying? I gotta stretch, y'all. Ooh, Lord. But, yeah, like, fuck around and find out. That's what they do. They fucked around and found out that, gosh, Lee, it's him. Oh, my gosh. We're reporting live from. Oh, man. Y'all gotta let him know, like, don't come over here. Like, you ain't got me fucked up. You got yourself fucked up. Like, what more? Y'all don't fucked around and found out. That go for anybody. Found out that you cannot destroy what is divinely guided and protected. This is some people's sole mission here to, like, help aid Gaia, Sophia, you know, just the help aid in the divine. What makes you think you can stop that? Now people are coming back into their power? What? Go sit your ass in the corner. Now. Go sit in the corner now. You know, if you grew up in them certain homes, you know, your mama put her teeth together. Sit your ass down now. That's what Big Mama saying. That's what the divine feminine, the ancient mothers are saying. They sitting y'all ass down because y'all playing with the right ones. Y'all came over here doing sit your ass down. Go sit your... So now, all the shit being returned to sender. Because I returned to sender all with love. But that's what I feel like I'm so protected by. You know? But also other things that, again, y'all think this is just some little physicals. Go on, keep playing with it. But anywho, what's that song? I don't know. I ain't gonna say this. But in all the grand scheme of things, it's like, y'all ready for this show? Get your popcorn ready. Get your whatever, your refreshments. Get everything ready because it's going up. It's not going, it's going up. And for those of you that are watching and tuning in, what do they say? Oh, all them. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. You know, I appreciate you all, though. Y'all all doing great. We all doing, like, we don't give ourselves as much credit. And that's one thing I was expressing to someone is, who does the credit go to? When you see the bigger picture? Do we take credit for it? Or are we just simply here doing what we know what we really supposed to be doing, but why are we playing with it? This shit finna be so immaculate and fun. I can feel it. Like, y'all have no idea. This is nothing. Nothing. Y'all ain't seen nothing. Nothing. Nothing good. For real. That's just my personal. I love it. But anyway, I ain't seen, man. Shout out to the divine ones. Shout out to the ones that are aiding in this ascension, this cosmically, globally, everything. Like, go have fun. Go enjoy your lives, man. Go play. Go do something, man. Y'all have no idea, man. It's like, shit. Once you know you did that inner work and I self-reflect, I had to really learn to really sit back and be like, yo, nobody can stop me. No one can stop me. Nothing can stop me. That's how you gotta feel. It's like a tsunami. I'm gonna whoosh into your life and change everything. You will never be the same again. That's the love that I'm sending. The clarity, the peace, the abundance, the everything. Cause I'm bigger than this. You say this, but I'm bigger than I'm bigger than all of this. So I'm sending you all that love. And I call back all my energy. And I send you back all of yours. But I'm also still sending you an abundance of love and bliss and peace and all that. You know what I'm saying? Holla at me. You know what I'm saying? I hear you. Y'all take care of yourself, man. Peace and blessing. Shalom. Peace.